A U.S. Navy ship vanished into thin air. Its crew was fused into steel. Some sailors were never seen again. Did the Navy really make a warship invisible in 1943? Or is this the greatest hoax in military history? The ship was called the USS Eldridge, a destroyer escort built for war, not for legend. But according to one story, in the summer of 1943, it became something else entirely. The claim goes like this. The Navy was testing a theory linked to Albert Einstein called the unified field theory. The idea: generate a powerful enough electromagnetic field and light itself bends around an object. The object disappears, not just from sight, from radar too. In wartime, that kind of technology would be priceless. German U-boats were sinking Allied ships faster than shipyards could replace them. An invisible warship could change everything. So the story claims the Eldridge was fitted with massive generators at the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard. Coils wrapped around the hull, cables feeding enormous amounts of power into the ship's frame. On August 12, 1943, the experiment allegedly began. Witnesses claimed a strange green fog surrounded the ship. Then, according to the legend, the Eldridge didn't fade. It disappeared completely, crew and all. But that's not even the strangest part. Witnesses claimed the ship reappeared minutes later at a naval yard in Norfolk, Virginia, 200 miles away. It sat there, then vanished again, and reappeared back in Philadelphia. If that's true, the Navy hadn't just invented invisibility. It had accidentally invented teleportation. So what happened to the crew when the ship came back? This is where the story turns disturbing. According to the legend, some sailors were found fused into the ship's metal walls and floors. Others reportedly lost their minds. Some were said to flicker in and out of visibility for the rest of their lives. A few allegedly walked through walls in front of their own families. Others simply disappeared and were never accounted for again. These are extreme claims. So, where did they actually come from? Not from Navy records, not from ship logs. They came from one man. His name was Carl Allen. He also used the alias Carlos Miguel Allende. In the 1950s, Allen began writing letters to a UFO researcher named Morris K. Jessup. Allen claimed he personally saw the experiment from a nearby merchant ship. His letters were chaotic. Different colors of ink, shifting handwriting, and details that changed depending on who was reading them. That should have been the end of it. A single, unstable source with no proof. But then something happened that gave the story new life. In 1955, two officers from the Office of Naval Research contacted Jessup directly. They showed him an annotated copy of his own book. Someone had mailed it to the Navy anonymously, filled with handwritten notes about the experiment. And here's the detail that keeps this story alive to this day. The Navy didn't dismiss it. They had that annotated copy printed and quietly distributed. Why would the U.S. Navy spend time reproducing a stranger's conspiracy theory? That single decision is the reason this legend refused to disappear. Then in 1959, Morris Jessup was found dead in his car, ruled a suicide. For believers, the timing wasn't a coincidence. It looked like a man who knew too much. But investigators ran into a serious problem. There's no record that Carl Allen ever served on the ship he claimed to be on. No documentation, no proof he was ever there at all. And then came the detail that should have ended the legend completely. Researchers finally checked the Eldridge's own deck log for August 1943. The ship wasn't in Philadelphia that month. It was in New York. So if the Eldridge wasn't even in the city where this experiment supposedly happened, what actually took place at that shipyard? The answer isn't science fiction. It's a real, documented Navy procedure called degaussing. Degaussing meant wrapping a ship's hull in electrical cables to cancel its magnetic field. This was standard practice throughout the war. It protected ships from German magnetic mines, which detonated based on a vessel's natural magnetic signature. Sailors watching this process described strange effects: a greenish glow from specialized coatings, arcing current, the loud hum of powerful generators. To someone unfamiliar with the technology in 1943, it may have looked like something impossible. In reality, it was ordinary wartime engineering, later blown far out of proportion. The U.S. Navy has responded to this story directly, more than once. Their official position: no records exist of any invisibility experiment. The Eldridge never docked in Philadelphia during the claimed period, and generating a field strong enough to bend light around a 300-foot steel ship isn't just classified. By the physics we understand today, it isn't possible. But the denial didn't kill the story. It fueled it. In 1979, a book titled The Philadelphia Experiment presented the legend as a real cover-up. It became a bestseller. In 1984, it inspired a Hollywood film, and for millions of viewers, fiction and historical claim blurred together completely. So after more than 80 years, what does the evidence actually show? Believers point to the consistency of certain details, the Navy's decision to reprint Jessup's annotated book, and a long history of governments hiding real experiments from the public. Skeptics point to something harder to ignore: no photographs, no engineering records, no verified witnesses, no physical evidence the ship was ever modified, and a declog placing the Eldridge somewhere else entirely. What remains is a legend built on the claims of one uncorroborated man, layered on top of a real wartime technology that had a simple, verifiable explanation. The Eldridge itself was transferred to the Greek Navy in 1951. It served for decades under a new name, fully visible the entire time. The evidence points to one conclusion: the Philadelphia experiment never happened as described. What did happen was a real Navy secret, misunderstood by witnesses, and turned into one of the most convincing legends in modern history.